A.J. Pollock, 9 for 22 versus the Rockies in 2015.
Listen, the game is not played on paper, but on paper, I like the matchup, George, because outside of Peralta, there isn't really a big left-handed bat or several left-handed bats, and those are the guys, as you showed, that have been giving David Hale issues.
Well, I think that's the positive to it, too. I think if you get against a team, and you're David Hale, that is an aggressive swinging team, that doesn't take a lot of pitches, that plays right into his hand.
And this is one of the most aggressive teams in baseball. They see among the fewest pitches per plate appearance of any team in the game. So after a rain delay, Dougie, what do we have officially? 41.
51 minutes.
First pitch of the ball game's a strike, and the rain delay is 46 minutes officially. And the 0-1, that's swing and a miss on a changeup. 0-2. A.J. Pollock hitting .341 over his last 33 games. Talented center fielder for the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks come in 34-36. The Rockies 31-39. So we're up to 18 hours and 11 minutes of rain delays. Ho hum.
We need the rain, just not around game time.
Hard smash to Nolan. He's got plenty of time. 1 out. Well, it's appropriate after that smash at Nolan to look at the Rockies defensively this evening. In the outfield, the Rockies will have Ben Paulson again in left. He made a couple of difficult plays last night. Charlie Blackmon in center. Brandon Barnes, good outfielder. He's in right. Nolan and Troy on the left side. DJ LeMahieu with Willeen Rosario right side. Nick Hundley once again doing the catching. David Peralta steps up, and the Rockies will swing Troy to the right side. So the shift is on for Peralta. And he hits it slowly up the middle. Troy will make the play. And that's where the positioning, George, comes in that he's become more familiar with attacking a baseball from the right side of second base.
I'd be able to make that throw. He's always made the acrobatic throw, off balance throw to first base. He has to make another one here on the move, on the money. Right over the top of the head. It had eyes to start with, and then those eyes slammed shut.
So Paul Goldschmidt with 2 outs and nobody on. This guy is an absolute beast. And takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Goldschmidt 1 for 4 in a walk yesterday, so he's on base twice, and you feel like, wow, we did a great job with him. Kept him in the ballpark, didn't drive anybody in. We're good.
Yeah, you did a really good job because they got him off his feet a little bit. I think that's the key to it. You can't revisit the same pitch back to back with this guy.
Fouls it off, and it's 0-2. His base hit came on an 0-2 count last night. He's leading the National League in all of baseball, 355, a point in front of Miami's D. Gordon. Goldschmidt hitting .429 this year against the Rockies. Here's the 0-2. And a roller to short. Good start for David Hale. Outstanding. An 8-pitch inning, 3 ground balls, and the Rockies will make their way to the bat rack. Game 2 of this 3-game set between the Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. Walt Weiss's lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead things off. Charlie in his career hitting .356 against Arizona pitching. DJ is 6th in the National League in hitting. Then Tulowitzki, Arenado, and Paulson 3-4-5. I mentioned Nolan's also got a 10-game hitting streak going. Willeen Rosario, Nick Hundley 6 and 7, then Brandon Barnes and David Hale to face the right-hander Alan Webster.
Now the right-hander making his 3rd start of the season, has bounced a little bit between the big leagues and minor leagues. Got a big arm. He's handled left-handers because of that hard sinker. And you look at his overall numbers and you say, well, why the .655 earned run average? He's given up a couple of big home runs in the ball game in those starts, and he's walked 8. Take a look at what he likes to utilize into the ball game. 67% on the fastball, breaking ball, and again, a guy that likes to utilize his changeup.
Yeah, he's really a 2-pitch pitcher. It's fastball, changeup, on the gas, off the gas. George, you mentioned the 8 walks. It's 8 walks in 11 innings. That has been his undoing.
Kind of the same thing at the minor league level too. The walks seem to get him in trouble, but pitching at Reno can be difficult at times. Archie Bradley is making his rehab. There's a good start for the Rockies.
Clean single to center for Blackmon. So Charlie's aboard for DJ LeMahieu. And that's now an 8-game hitting streak for Chuck Nasty. Well, the Rockies have scored 20 runs in their last 2 games. Bats are starting to heat up as the summer's heating up here at 20th and Blake. And I know it sounds strange to say this with the weather that we've had this afternoon, but for the most part, some of the weather's been better. And the Rockies now leading the National League in runs per game. That's going to go up the right field line. Blackmon should get the 3rd easily. He will. You make a throwing error on the right side of first base from the pitcher's perspective, and it is almost automatic at Coors Field that runner is going to be at 3rd base.
Only because of the spacious area out behind first base, and Webster makes a big mistake here with Charlie and a big lead. He throws it well out of the reach of a guy 6'4", and that makes it a little more difficult to tell you how much he did miss by. Charlie coasted into 3rd base, picked up his 3rd base coach Stu Cole. You see it on the Subaru Supermo, that wild throw to first.
Well, LeMahieu, a great chance to drive in his 34th run.
You know, as a pitcher, you got to forget about the wild throw. Try to get your ground ball to limit damage here. You know, it's difficult not to let this run score. DJ 373 with runners in scoring position.
And this will get the job done. On the ground, now they're going to come home with it, and the ball was dropped by Saltalamacchia. LeMahieu's going to end up at 2nd. The throw was skipped home by Ahmed. It should have been handled by Saltalamacchia. It was not. The Rockies lead 1-0. Nobody out. LeMahieu at 2nd.
Yeah, Saltalamacchia, I think he felt footsteps from Charlie Blackmon. I think Ahmed, looking at it, Drew, you think there's no way, but this ball got to him in such a hurry. He snapped through it in. Saltalamacchia, he had the ball in his hand. How do you don't hang on to that? I'm glad he didn't. Oh, he took his eye completely off of that baseball. Boy, what a great shot there on the Subaru Supermo. That was awesome.
It's got to be an error on Saltalamacchia. They haven't scored it yet. Wow. You know what? They're giving the error to the shortstop, and I don't agree with that. I mean, that ball was skipped. It wasn't a short hop. It was a clean hop to him. That, if you ask Jared Saltalamacchia after the game, he'll say that's on me. I mean, come on. That's the same thing as a ball that's thrown.
He had his eyes shut. Did you see that? On a slow-mo, you can really see that. Maybe we can show it again here in a minute.
He flat whiffed on the ball.
Yeah, well, I think he had his eyes shut. That's why he whiffed on it.
2 errors. First 2 batters of the game for Arizona, and they've fielded the ball very well this year. Not so much tonight. Here's Tulowitzki. Fielder's choice, by the way, no RBI. Troy last night threw out a couple more hits. Got the average up to 312.
There's been a whole lot of action for just 7 pitches in this game.
Tell me about it. 1-1, and this ball's pulled foul. That was a changeup. So we were talking, and we showed a graphic a moment ago, how the Rockies about 3 weeks ago were 4th or 5th, actually 4th in the National League in runs per game. They've increased it over the last few weeks. They're now #1 in runs per game, and last night they skipped over Arizona with the 10-run effort. They're still below what they normally score at Coors Field. Hopefully that continues trending in the same direction. Rockies accustomed to being atop that list with all they do here at 20th and Blake offensively. Chip Hale does not look happy. Talking to Mike Harkey, the pitching coach for the Diamondbacks. This is bounce foul. Was Alan Webster a fan of Steve Troxel growing up, George?
He reminds you?
I'm telling you, he has slowed this thing down to a crawl.
Yeah, maybe trying to get the rest of his teammates to wake up a little bit. He fired one down the right field line so the outfielders can everybody get their legs loose and get ready to go.
Well, I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure he appreciated it even more. Take it any way you can. The Rockies 21-7 when they score first in a ball game, so that's all good news.
Wow.
Webster 47-35 in his minor league career. 157 games, 130 starts, 357 earned run average.
On the Rockies bench, Jorge De La Rosa just turned to one of his teammates and said, "Don't ever tell me that I work slow again." This ball's pulled foul.
Yeah, they're trying to go to that outside corner on Tulowitzki, and he keeps coming inside. Tulo's quick inside. You better be careful with throwing up an elevated fastball at him.
It was no insult to Lamakias behind the plate because his name does a circle around his number. Nobody out. LeMahieu at second. 1-2 on Tulowitzki, who's had a big June.
Yeah, it's hard to pitch at the big leagues and be successful over and over again. As you look at the hits leaders in June, Blackman, Tulowitzki, 29-27. Franco with Philadelphia, the young third baseman, really swinging about well with 34 hits. Revere with 32. If you don't have a swing and miss breaking ball in this situation, you get to 1-2 and you keep seeing the foul off, foul off, foul off. If you can't giddy up the fastball to elevate it into the 94, 95 range, you better have something that they swing and miss on the soft stuff. Altamacchia spreads and walks forward. Get the strike call on the ball on the outside part of the plate to Tulowitzki. Tony La Russa is traveling with the ball club, as well as Bob Gebhardt, who lives here in Denver.
Bob's been with the Diamondbacks for a long time in their front office. Dave Stewart now the general manager. There's Tony, there's Geb on the left. Geb still lives in the Denver area. This is out of play also. First general manager of the Rockies, Bob Gebhardt.
You see what they're trying to work just one away from him, a long ways away, and that was a changeup. Everything else has been elevated or inside. So Troy's been able to fight off a number of these pitches. Number 9 coming.
They're going to call a timeout here in a second and give these guys hot dogs and stuff because they got to be hungry. They haven't ate in a while.
Oh, trust me, in a rain delay, players wipe out spreads. There's hardly anything left.
The rain delay was 3 hours ago. Webster and Tulowitzki have been staring each other down for 40 minutes now. Hard on infielders, man, especially when the tempo is this slow. 2-2. 3-2.
I can tell you it's hard on two. It's hard on a manager and a pitching coach. Last couple of years, 13 and 14 with Boston. Webster 7 and 6. 19 games, 18 starts with the Red Sox.
Chappelle already went through his chewing gum, discarded it. They don't have anybody out. Here's the 3-2. And a line shot to left, base hit. LeMahieu around third. He gets the green light from Stu Cole. 2-0 Colorado. Tulowitzki wins that lengthy battle. His 39th RBI of the season, and the Rockies are off to a terrific start.
Yeah, stay hot, stay hot. Troy Tulowitzki. This whole middle lineup is just crushing the baseball. Tulo fought off so many pitches. Mike Hartke's going to go to the mound. Check on Webster, but this ball shot out into left field. Peralta's going to get to the baseball. He makes the throw to the plate. Not sure why he did that. With the runner coming, he's not having a shot at all at DJ. And they make sure they cut it off to keep Tulowitzki at first and a double play in order.
And now the Rockies' hottest hitter coming up in Nolan Arenado.
Now, last night, a fun night for Nolan and the Rockies. He got a breaking ball up. See you later. Later in the ball game, he got another breaking ball that stayed, and this one went farther. Went into left center field. Nolan with 2 home runs in last night's ball game.
Riding a 10-game hitting streak. Moved into second place in the RBI chase in the National League with the 4 ribbies yesterday. 0-2. Hop to shallow center field. Going out is Nick Ahmed, and he'll make the catch. First out of the inning. That'll bring up Ben Paulson. Let's take a look at the gloves for Arizona tonight. And I made this statement earlier. By and large, they've played very good defense this year, at least by fielding percentage metrics. Peralta, Pollock, and Tomas, I should say, in the outfield. Jake Lamb, Nick Ahmed, Chris Owings, and Paul Goldschmidt in the infield. Jared Saltalamacchia is behind the plate. And they put a shift on for Ben Paulson. Saw Ben try to lay down a bunt against this shift last night. Doubtful he would try it now with a strike on it. Different philosophies defensively in the outfield on how to patrol Coors Field, the vast outfield that is at Coors Field, the largest outfield in baseball. Arizona, with this grouping, plays very, very deep.
Which tells me they have a better job of coming in on the ball versus going back on the ball. They feel like by playing deeper, they can cut the angles into the gaps faster, cut off a lot of those balls that are hit versus you know, running straight back and over. Now you're just running straight over.
It's always interesting, especially inside the NL West, because those teams come here so frequently, how they game plan out there. This ball is pulled hard, but right at the second baseman Owings, and he turns in a 4-5-3 double play as Lamb got over there and covered. Rockies get 2 in the first. Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. By 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Fast start for the Rockies. They're up on Arizona 2-0, looking for their 4th consecutive victory. David Hale, 3 ground balls and an 8-pitch first inning. With George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad you're along tonight. It remains overcast at Coors Field. The game was delayed initially by 46 minutes. This is the young Cuban star Yasmani Tomas, who has really swung the bat well. Hasn't perhaps hit as many home runs as was projected for him, but he's hit, man. 315. He's driven in 25, and they think they found a position for him. Third base wasn't a good fit defensively. He's been playing a lot of right field of late.
And he's been very consistent. You mentioned his average overall, but 333 in April, 316, 306 in June. Left-handers 311, right-handers 317, home 321, road 311. Been a very consistent player with the bat.
It's an inside-out type swing. Chip Hale told me yesterday he is starting to look to pull the ball a little bit more. Skipper for Arizona. Two one outside, 3-1. Here you see a little of that fire at David Hale. He snapped his glove on the baseball when it was returned to him by Nick Hundley. He was upset with the execution of that previous pitch. Here's the 3-1. And it's on the ground to DJ, and you don't usually reach when you hit it in his direction. 1 out. With one gone, Jake Lamb, the third baseman, will approach. Rockies fans, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts or photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk. I was shocked, folks, the other day. I want to share this with you. It was during one of the rain delays, and I turned to my right. My partner was on Facebook, and I didn't realize until recently that A, George could operate a computer, and then B, find Facebook.
Well, it's because my daughter downloaded it. I don't get on it. I just read it.
Oh, so somebody did it, all the
like
machinations.
My wife said,
for
you're
you.
a creeper. You're creeping and looking at what everybody's doing. I said, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
A lot of people have called you creepy before.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah.
More than one.
That's in there, 1-1.
I don't know how I made it all these years. Of course, I don't really have a computer. It's an iPad.
George, that would be a computer, though.
No, it's just an oversized iPhone.
Yeah. I'm impressed, though. You've come a long way.
It's an oversized iPhone. That's all it is.
You're good texting.
Getting better.
You're an outstanding
I'm getting
texter.
better.
You are.
I'm
You're
getting
good.
better. Started that a couple of years ago. Only because I was forced to.
Remember the good old days on a picnic table with a scorebook? Let's go.
Drew's referencing, we did a ball game at Creighton in Omaha, sitting on a picnic bench, and I could have slapped the umpire in the back of the head. That's how close we were.
1988.
Yeah, 1988. That's right. Oh, so you can't text. Pay attention to the game.
That's fouled off. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jake Lamb, product of the University of Washington. Well, Creighton's fancy new home ballpark. They're inside a crown a national champion tonight.
Yeah, how about that? Huh? Unless this rain gets there. Heads up I-80.
Foul tip held by Nick Hundley. 2 outs as Lamb goes down. First strikeout of the evening for David Hale. He had a rough outing against Houston. 5 runs, 10 hits in 5 innings, though he struck out 9 in that ballgame.
Take advantage of the business person special. Just $20 for your rooftop ticket for a weekday day game. Includes a Chubb burger, fries, and a drink. For more information and to buy tickets, go to Rockies.com/rooftop.
Here's Chris Owings. And he takes ball 1. There was a real odd occurrence in that last ball game that Hale pitched against Houston. The Rockies would allow 8 runs in that ball game. They became only the 15th team ever to strike out 17 or more of the opposition and allow 8 or more runs. Houston struck out 17 times in that game, but they won. Scored 8.
It's one of the few times that there are more strikeouts than the Rockies had hits. Right? 17, 13. Still lose a ball game. Crazy. But Houston strikes out a lot, but they hit it over the wall a lot too.
They hit 12 in the 4 games against the Rockies.
San Luis won again over Miami 6-1.
Jaime Garcia yesterday.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I saw it. For camera work, I saw it. If it wasn't great camera work, I would have never seen it. Holy cow, he smacked that thing. That's a long ways, folks, when you hit it on that back end of that walkway over the stands.
It's close to 490 feet. 3-1 on Chris Owings. 2 outs, nobody on. The Rockies up 2-0. Top of inning number 2. And Hale, who doesn't walk many, just his 5th walk this year. With 2 outs, walks Owings. And that'll bring up Jared Saltalamacchia.
Now the struggles have continued for Saltalamacchia from when he was playing with Miami. And, he was designated to the success of their young catcher there, hitting 129 on the year. Excuse me, 171, and he's raised it a little bit. Still has the power. You have to be aware of it. I know he doesn't have many home runs right now, but if you make a mistake, he can hurt you.
Yeah, this is a big, strong guy. So there is the longest surname in the sports history, 14 letters. This time he got to the big leagues and sent his uniform out, and the person in charge is sewing the name on, so you've got to be kidding me. Give me an extra 2 hours.
It's a few. Owings on the walk. He has 7 stolen bases. He's been caught 1 time. Nick Hundley has thrown the ball well this year. 12 of 27 so far. That ball misses. Nice stop by Nick.
Wind blowing out to right. This is right at Troy, and he flips over to Nolan, and that's all for the Diamondbacks in the second. We'll go to the bottom half of inning number 2. The Rockies leading 2-0 against Alan Webster and the D-backs. Defensive play by Arizona in that first frame. So it's a 2-0 ball game as we go to the bottom of the second. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies do as they've done the last couple of nights, you'll all be happy tomorrow when they score 7 or more. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 for your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Willeen Rosario hitting in the 6th spot will lead things off. Nick Hundley and Brandon Barnes to follow. Alan Webster's first pitch on the outside corner at 92. Willeen got in the home run fest last night. The Rockies hit a season high 5. They hit 5 in a game 3 times last year. That's a pretty good slider there.
Yeah, one of the few he's shown down in the strike zone with good velocity and depth at 86.
Two on the baby bull.
You know what happens with a lot of pitchers, you throw a nasty slider to get a swing and miss, and instead of just trying to repeat the pitch, you try to throw a better one, and when you do, you typically get your hand off to the side of the ball and it stays in the middle of the plate and becomes hittable. Try to improve off the one you just threw.
Sometimes the enemy of good, George, is great.
Most of the time it's between your ears.
Made a good pitch, try to make a great pitch. And
yeah. Now you're into your 5th pitch against him. Got him to chase this one. Salto Makia. Don't you like to say that, Nick?
I do.
Yeah, strikeout. Don't like to say that about Willeen. Comes up with a strikeout.
1 out and 1 out, and that'll bring up the Nick.
Albuquerque's on top of El Paso visiting in Texas this weekend. They had 4-1 in the ball game. Lannon's pitched well.
Well, the Rockies agreed to terms with their 4th round pick. They're getting them all signed up. Right-handed pitcher David Hill.
Now, they also came to terms with their 9th round pick, Trey Killian, out of the University of Arkansas. He was a right-handed starting pitcher. Trey was their Friday night starter for the Razorbacks this year. Went 3 and 5 and an earned run average of 4.7.
Want to know on Hundley? Well, it'll be fun to watch the progress of not only this year's draft, but some of the guys who've been drafted in recent years as they progress. Mentioned the other day, Max George hit a home run
Had 2 doubles the next night.
Yep.
Swung the bat well.
He can swing it. I'll tell you who's having a good year. Forrest Wall. He's been swinging it. This ball's hammered to center field. Pollock going back. He's going to run out of room. Dead central. Nick Hundley makes it 3-0. Boy, was that ever crushed.
Here at Coors Field, it has been a rarity to have a catcher that handles your catching staff or pitching staff, throws out runners, and can swing the bat with some power. And that's exactly what he's done. 6th home run, 25th RBI, hitting down in the bottom of the order for the majority of the season. Nick Hundley comes up with another big base hit on the Subaru Supermo. Fastball dead central, a miss of about 2 feet, costing 430 feet to dead center field. To put the Rockies on top, 3-0.
You know you've hit one when it's a no-doubter to center. The center fielder basically quit before the warning track. That's a long way.
A little high five to family in the stands.
Barnes pulls it foul. First home run for Nick since May the 26th.
Pretty good excitement in those Coors Field seats.
Mike McHenry, that's fitting. You know, people think, oh, if you play the same position, you get a long competition. Those guys are really close.
Well,
they do everything together in terms of game preparation. They really complement each other well. And I'll tell you what, as a tandem, we're going to show you a graph here in a moment. As a tandem, they are really producing. This ball's to shortstop. Brandon's thrown out by a step by Ahmed. Look at what they've done as a tandem, and that was coming into play today. They've hit .290 together. That's Hundley and McHenry. Their on-base percentage 4th best in the National League, and slugging percentage is top. So that twosome there has really provided some pop in the lower third of the lineup for Walt Weiss.
But what makes that work is if your backup catcher doesn't want too much, that he's pulling for the other guy and recognizing Nick's the #1 guy. I'm going to play my 1 or 2 ball games. I may have to go in late in ball games as a pinch runner, pinch hitter, swing the bat and have to go catch. But if you understand your role, it makes for a lot happier locker room and clubhouse, I'll tell you that.
David Hale bounces one in the middle of the diamond, and Chris Owings will throw him out. In the inning, Nick Hundley goes deep for the 6th time this year, and the Rockies have a 3-0 lead.
Talking to Nick Hundley yesterday about David Hale. Hale is a cerebral pitcher. Ivy League grad from Princeton, and he gave me an interesting story where he ties in a Hall of Fame pitcher with David Hale.
Greg Maddux told me one time that, you know, we have 13 guys to catch, and he has 4 days in between starts to get prepared. So there's no reason why a starting pitcher shouldn't have a better idea of what they want to do than the catcher does to a certain team. So he brings that mindset, and we really appreciate that.
Yes, Hale and Greg Maddux in the same sentence because of Hale's preparation. He does a lot before games. George, does that sound like something Greg Maddux would say? Hey, there's 13 guys. I got to get out. I got 4 days. I got a catcher. We should get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're talking about the professor.
Right.
Obviously going to the Hall of Fame. 354, I think, career wins for Greg Maddux. Is that correct, Doug? 354?
I think that is right, George.
He had one more than Clemens, I believe. I ask you, Doug, if 354 for Maddux was the correct number for wins.
Ball and a strike on.
That's a lot of wins. It's a lot of wins.
Change up at the bottom of the zone, and then bottomed out 1 and 2.
.355 at 227.
55.
355.
We shorted him one. David Hale, an economics major at Princeton. And it's a bouncer that's going to get through the right side. A base hit for Ahmed. I'll bring up Allen Webster in a bunting situation. So what are there? 3 Princetonians, right? In baseball, Chris Young, Will Venable, David Hale.
There you go.
I leave anybody out, Doug? Just checking. That's bunted in the air. Can Willeen get there? Yep. Thank you. Oh, Ross Ohlendorf. Forgot about him.
Yeah, Ohlendorf is now in Texas AAA roster, I think. But I think he's in AAA. Doug said he's 8 games with the big league club this year. I know he battled some injuries coming back. So.
He had a major that you had to have a PhD to pronounce. On the ground at third. See if the Rockies can twist one. And they did. What a job by LeMahieu. The throw from Arenado kind of took him toward first base, and he gloved it, made a throw. Now, they may challenge this. Chris Caccione, the first place umpire, punched him out.
Yeah, from that angle, the ball just tailed away a little bit. It kept tough to tell for us on that one. It looks like they will challenge.
Yep. We had one of those yesterday. I think he may have beaten it by a smidgen. Time for a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes.
Yeah, I think Chris, you missed it. What's that all about?
Got to be clarifying what they were challenging.
What else could you be challenging?
George, I don't know.
Okay. Was it because DJ was on the bag maybe, or off the bag? What did they think?
That's probably, I mean, that's the only other thing they could challenge. You're going to get the neighborhood call at second here. His foot was still on the bag. He's clearly on the bag there. Anyhow, that's not what they were challenging. We don't think. And again, the good thing is it's close. And the good thing is he was called out. And it has to be pretty clear cut. Pretty clear cut. It has to be clear cut to overturn it. Safe at first.
Out at second, safe at first. Can you challenge both spots?
So 2 outs. Now to bring up Peralta. Peralta to ground ball to short his first time up. Want to know on Peralta? David had 3 hits last night for Arizona. 10-5 loss. It's the Rockies' second victory against Arizona this year. Rockies are 2-4 against the Diamondbacks. In the air to left field. Easy play for Ben Paulson. He's got it, and that ends the top of the third. The Rockies, as we go to the bottom half of inning number 3, enjoying a 3-0 lead on Arizona. That haircut, but we can tell you that Brandon was kind enough to wear a microphone during batting practice today. Let's eavesdrop.
What's up, Chuck? What do you got for me today? It's a good day to beat Rocky.
It is a good day to be Rocky.
I think it's a good day to beat Chuck Nasty.
It's always a good day.
It's always a good day to beat Chuck Nasty.
And here he is at the plate live, Chuck Nasty. Charlie, a base hit and a run scored in the first inning. After his base hit, Alan Webster tried to pick him off, and he threw the ball up the right field line. Chuck ended up at third, and on a ground ball to short, the throw came home despite Nick Ahmed being at normal depth. And honestly, had Saltalamacchia held onto the baseball, Charlie would have been out. But it went past Saltalamacchia. DJ, who hit the baseball, ended up at second base. Rockies on their way to a 2-run first. Got a home run from Nick Hundley in the second, thus their 3-0 advantage. 0-2. 1-2. Charlie with 29 hits in the month of June. Only Michael Franco and Ben Revere of the Phils have more. 2-2. Soft liner is short. 1 out. Well, I've seen all kinds of interesting sunsets the last couple of days. Saw some violent weather go through here late this afternoon. 0-1 on DJ, who homered last night. 1 for 3 and a walk for LeMahieu. Scored a couple runs, lined a home run to left center. 4th big fly of the year. Here's that home run he hit.
Breaking ball. The Rockies took advantage of about 4 hanging sliders last night. Just crushed the baseball. Grand Junction's on top of their ball game. Gavin Glantz, a Denver high school graduate, went to Oral Roberts. 3 innings, 1 hit, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. He's 1-0 on the year. Tyler Nevin, a recent draft pick, 38th pick, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Rogers, the #1 draft pick, will make his debut on Friday.
2-2.
And a lot of guys that haven't thrown the baseball. You know, high school seasons ended on the 1st of May. Those guys are going to be slow before they get them out on the mound. And, you know, probably going to be the 1st of July for some of those guys before they get innings. They throw about 3 or 4 bullpens, a couple of live batting practice, and they get them a couple innings.
That's up the middle. Base hit for LeMahieu. 1 out single for DJ. Well, I remember when we had Rogers up in the booth, he said he had played in the neighborhood of 6 weeks. He had gone through some workouts for teams, the Rockies being one of those teams he worked out for, but in terms of really seeing live pitching, he hadn't.
And why not let them ease their way into this versus sticking them out there? I know the other day Phil Nevin had texted me. He said, well, welcome to the pro ball, son. You faced a guy throwing 97. 3 fastballs in a row, and he was making a right turn.
Tulowitzki at the plate. Troy in a lengthy at bat in the first inning. Lined a 3-2 pitch to left to drive in a run. Troy, over his last 34 ball games against Arizona, has hit .427 with 9 home runs, and he's driven in 28. He's also scored 27 in those 27 games. You know, he hasn't hit the long ball yet. He hasn't gone on one of those stretches where, you know, he hits 7 over a 2-week period. I'm sure it's going to happen. But he's driving in runs, got the average well over 300. I think the most frequently used adjective by a baseball player, whether you're a position player or a pitcher, is grind. You have to grind through the season, through the highs and the lows of the season. And no matter how talented you are, no matter how good the numbers are at the end of the journey, there were periods where you felt like, man, I can't get a hit to save my life, or I can't throw a strike to save my life. Can't get a W on the pitching side.
It's not high school anymore. It's you're playing a game for 144 games, 54, then to 162. So you're playing a lot of baseball that you're not quite adept to, including the 30 games in spring training that you try to play, or 20 on top of that. So it's a long process. There's no question.
Three and one on Tulowitzki with Nolan Arenado on deck. And Webster really gets deliberate when there's traffic. And this is popped up toward Goldschmidt. 2 outs.
Military Appreciation Day is July the 11th. Active military and veterans receive complimentary tickets, and discounts are available for family and friends. Come early for the celebration here at Coors Field. 303 Rockies for more information about the Military Appreciation Day on Saturday, July 11th.
And Arenado pops it up left side.
And he got a hanger there.
Lamb makes the catch, and LeMahieu's left aboard. As we go to the 4th, the Rockies leading Arizona 3-0. Recap. Well, the Rockies off to a 3-0 beginning. There was a rain delay of 46 minutes at the outset. The Rockies benefited from 2 errors in the first inning by Arizona. Both of those runs were unearned. Nick Hundley hit a long home run straight away in the second. And David Hale's been very good. He's allowed just a couple of base runners, a hit and a walk through 3 frames. Paul Goldschmidt will lead things off in the 4th inning. Goldschmidt, Tomas, and Jake Lamb. Paul takes a strike. He grounded out his first time. Leading baseball coming in with a .355 average. He's reached in 23 straight games against the Rockies. His on-base percentage isn't that far from .500.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. This ball driven to right field, and Barnes slides over and makes the catch. So Goldschmidt retired for the 2nd time by David Hale, and that'll bring up the right fielder Yasmani Tomas, the native of Cuba. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Speaking of reviews, a clarification. The umpires in New York did look in that challenge at both plays, the play at second and the play at first.
Chip Hale was out talking to third base umpire Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, in between innings.
Tomas lines this ball to deep right. Barnes is going to hope it comes off the wall. It does. And he fires towards second. Safe.
Yeah, Tulowitzki tells him to check it pretty quick here just to make sure on this. That was a quick point by Tulo.
Well, he would know.
He's the one applying the tag. How about Barnesy? Man, what a nice bare hand grab. Recognized, all right, going to come off of the wall. Grabs it right at the top and then fires a one-hot bullet. Well, I think he's, well, yeah, see that leg popped up in the air.
That's why Troy wants him to challenge it.
That's exactly right. Tulowitzki, watch that lead leg's going to pop when he tags him. And I think the leg got in on the bottom side.
Yep. Rockies will not challenge. It's a 1-out double for Tomas, and Jake Lamb will take his turn. Lamb struck out his first time. Lone strikeout so far for David Hale, coming off a 9 strikeout performance. Jake Lamb was a Bear in the minor leagues. Liner down the left field line, and that's going to get a run home. It's going to be back-to-back doubles for Arizona, and it's 3-1. Lamb with his 11th RBI. The 6th double of the year.
It seemed like this pitch got elevated on David Hale a little bit, coming out of the hands, trying to throw the sinker down and away, and it never did get to that sink. It just got to the tail, stayed on the plane of Jake Lamb, and he just lined it down the left field corner, running away from Ben Paulson. You're not going to have a play there. You know, maybe if you get there and cut things off and it ricochets back, you might have something at second. Not the case. So they trade places, Tomas and Jake Lamb.
Lamb hit .321 in the minor leagues. He got to the big leagues quickly. Off-speed pitch.
I remember a year ago he made his debut against the Rockies while in Arizona.
A good-looking swing. Chris Owings walked his first time. That's a strike. 0-2. cut fastball off the plate. Line drive, fair ball down the right field line. Around third comes Lamb. Owings to second, and he'll stop there. 3 doubles in a row, and now Arizona within a run of the Rockies here in the 4th.
Yeah, a matter of trying to get a little bit too much of the plate. Ball running back to the middle, tried to take the fastball away from Chris Owings, and when it did, it ran right back into the middle of the plate. And almost like he knew it was going to be on that outer half. He sliced it down into that corner. Brandon Barnes has to fight his way to get that ball back in again. But then again, here we go, changing spots with Lamb. He scores, and that picks up the 18th RBI for Chris Owings, and a visit from Steve Foster to the mound to talk to David Hale.
Well, the common thread with all 3 doubles, they were all hit to the opposite field.
All fastballs. So a lot of times maybe you need to show the slider a little bit as you work with the bottom half of this lineup. Saltalamacchia and Ahmed are the next 2 up. I just want to say his name again. Good idea. When a guy's struggling at the plate with his average, a lot of times they try to cheat on the fastball. You try to counter that by showing a fastball early and then go back to the off-speed pitch. Yeah, Saltalamacchia well out on his front foot. Went right back to it. Worked again. It's a good location with the changeup. You can see it coming right out of the hand. A 3-finger changeup. Great rotation. I'm trying to think about your arm path going right through the catcher's eyes, through the center of the body, and all the way to the ground.
You know what Saltalamacchia, of course, means in Italian, George?
What does that mean, Drew? I know you've looked it up. What does that mean?
Well, I just knew this.
No, you didn't. Go ahead.
It means jump over the thicket. You know, thicket of bushes.
Kind of like Bambi running through the thicket?
Something like that. Former #1 pick of the Atlanta Braves. He got to the big leagues at 22, drafted out of a Florida high school. Got to have good hops to jump over his name. Three and two. This is the 5th big league stop now for Jared.
Best years were in Boston.
Won a ring with Boston in 2013. ball 4. It's going to go to the backstop, and Owens will move up to third. So it's a wild pitch, and after 3 terrific innings from David Hale, he's hit a speed bump here in the 4th. 3 doubles, a walk, and a wild pitch, first and third. Still just 1 out. Nick Ahmed coming up. He had a base hit his first time through the right side.
It's been a tough go for Ahmad to start the season. He was 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position, but the last 28 opportunities, he's 10 for 28. Things have gotten a lot better. Good note, Doug.
Line drive to right. That's going to drop. That'll tie up the game. And Saltalamacchia is going to go first to third. Brandon Barnes missed the cutoff man. And reading it was Ahmed, and he's going to move to second. So it's a 3-3 ball game, and Arizona has 2 in scoring position with Webster coming up.
Man, it's hit them where they ain't. That's exactly what happened. You got a sinker coming in under the hands, diving down. Just a nice job by Ahmed to drive this ball to the right side. His 16th RBI. Dumped out in front of Barnes. Barnes sees the runner advancing to third base, but the ball got airmailed over the cutoff. That allowed the advancement. And unfortunately, you take the double play out when that happens. So now you got second and third, and just 1 out, but a pitcher's up with a bad swing. Sorry, Alan. It's an American League guy.
Only trying to be truthful. Oh, we're going to squeeze here, Alan? Probably not.
Close your eyes, swing really hard, and hope something good happens. That's what you're thinking right now. A little equipment work going on here. Got the knee saver coming undone.
Two strikes on Webster.
I will say this, 64 at bats. He has 4 RBIs in the minor leagues. 0 for 5 at the major league level. Berkman is up down in the Rockies bullpen.
2 outs. And that'll bring up A.J. Pollock.
Movie night is back on Sunday, July 12th. All fans are invited to stay and watch The Rookie following the game versus the Braves. Purchase the movie night ticket package to access the field for the movie and receive a special blanket on that night. Sunday, July 12th. Atlanta's in town.
Here's Christian.
Well, what a saver he's been for the Rockies. Long relief role.
And Arenado throws out A.J. Pollock to end the inning. But there were 3 straight doubles and then a run-scoring hit from Nick Ahmed. Arizona's tied up the ball game with 3 in the 4th. Then Paulson lead off for the Rockies. Sports is brought to you by the Ford Mustang. Head-turning and heart-pounding Ford go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Well, the Rockies had a 3-0 lead. That's gone. And so they'll try to kickstart the offense here in the bottom of the 4th inning with Ben Paulson, Willeen Rosario, and Nick Hundley. Paulson grounded into a 4-6-3 double play his first time up. He hit it sharply, but it was right at the second baseman Chris Owings, right into the shift.
Let's see how Webster handles this. Down 3-0, cruise through a couple innings. Now the Rockies got a chance to get back in this thing and jump all over him. Let's see if he handles it here in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's throwing a total that last fastball 92 miles an hour. 55 pitches have been thrown in the ball game.
Out front, and it's a 1-2 count. Deep right center field, but playable for Pollock. 1 out. That'll bring up Rosario. Willeen struck out his first time. Always had great numbers against the Diamondbacks. Charlie Blackmon in that grouping as well. Hits, or excuse me, 10 runs on 11 hits yesterday. 5 of the 11 hits went over the wall for the Rockies. They had 10 runs, 15 hits, beating Milwaukee on Sunday. Challenged up high with the fastball. 2 balls and a strike. Webster, an 18th round pick in the 2008 June amateur draft by the Dodgers out of a North Carolina high school. And this is going to be a tough play, and no play. Willeen gets up the line pretty well. We've talked about it before for a guy that was a former catcher. So an infield hit for Rosario. That'll bring up Hundley.
Topped right off of the mound because Webster falls so far off first base side, could not recover and make a play on the ball. Ahmad got to the ball, but by that point, not going to risk it. With the light mist still falling here at Coors Field, and it's very light, but it's enough to keep your grass damp. And then when you get a slick ball, you may airmail it into the seats. So with a tie ball game, we'll try to see if they can get a double play ball. But Nick Hundley last time deposited one dead center.
Hit one into the fountains. Nick's on a roll, 9 for his last 20. Remember, he had the RBI single in his first at bat last night, which at the time gave 5 straight hits. 4 for 4 ball game on Sunday. .305 batting average for who played collegiately at the University of Arizona. And this ball is in the air to shallow center, and Pollock will get there. So with 2 outs, it'll be Brandon Barnes' turn. I was just looking at Nick Hundley, and yeah, you have that first at bat. Obviously things went well, and you think about what you did, the success you had. You wait, maybe 30 minutes goes by and you get another opportunity, and then you had that look on his face trying to figure out, okay, how did that ball miss the barrel? Now you think about your swing and the path and the pitch you decide to fire at.
But you
gotta wait another half hour.
You talked a long time early in the ball game about the roller coaster ride of a baseball player. Nick's been on those rides. He knows that sometimes you don't have to pay admission. You hit it a mile, and the other times you pay for it the next 3 at bats.
That's why if everybody could adopt what you learned when you were a really young player from one of the all-time greats, Lou Brock, when you asked him what the biggest key was, and he's told that story many times. He put his arm straight across, stay even keeled, no matter whether you're 4 for 4 or 0 for 4. Never too high, never too low.
That's exactly right.
3-0 on Barnes. This is setting up as a pitch around with David Hale in the on-deck circle. And that's exactly what it was. That'll push Rosario to second. And if nothing else, it'll clear Hale here in the 4th inning.
Well, make him pay for it.
Yeah, for me, George, that's an unnecessary pitch around. One thing if there's traffic and felt like with a base hit, a run's going to score. You had Rosario at first. So it's a nice job by Barnes to take the walk. And again, if nothing else, you clear the pitcher out of the way here. Next inning, you have the top of the order. And hopefully David comes through and throws out a base hit. It would be his first of the year. He has a better swing than Webster.
I think he's had a few more shots at it.
One and one.
Pretty good hack right there.
Yeah, got the barrel on it.
Fire a little earlier, watch out. I think I got a pretty good feeling what the next two are going to be, though. I think the next two are probably going to have a little movement away from that right-handed hitter. A little downward plane, a slider. Tried to overthrow one earlier. Missed with it.
Well, it's 3-2 on Hale.
See, amazing to me. I mean, on a 1-2 count, he goes change up in the dirt, then he try to fire a fastball by it. Still a slider. You got one. We saw that against Wallin. Glad he's not. 3-2 count. Load him up. Let Charlie take a whack at you again.
That's a foul ball.
Credit David Hale having a pretty good at bat right now.
Well,
worked this to a 3-2 count after being behind in a 1-2 count.
Stealing some more bullets from Webster's arsenal in the 4th inning. It's over 70 pitches. And Webster will win the battle with Hale. So 2 men are left on for the Rockies. We turn the page to inning number 5. Colorado 3, Arizona 3. dugout. Walt, you've seen the bats really come alive, and I know the weather was strange in April and in May, and obviously the last couple of days, but this team seems to have found their stride back at home swinging it.
Yeah, I think our offense is starting to click, starting to get some guys out at the same time, and it's been a pretty good homestand offensively, especially the start of this series, so we're hoping to continue it.
Well, and Kendrick last night and tonight hailed. I mean, just pitch a little bit the way these bats swing, and you're going to get a W. It's nice to see that.
Yeah, put us in position to win games, keep us in it, and I feel like our offense, our defense, and our bullpen can do the rest.
I know you wanted to know this. It's over 18 hours now of rain delays, Walt, at Coors Field this year. Enjoy the rest of them and go get a W, Walt. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Walt Weiss downstairs, 3-3. It'll be David Peralta leading off for Arizona, and then Paul Goldschmidt and Yasmani Tomas. So a big inning, kind of a swing inning, third time through. George, thick part of the lineup for David Hale, and he's coming off a hiccup inning.
Yeah, exactly. And the third time through the lineup, they've hit 369 again. So that's something Walt's aware of. That's where you make sure that if one guy gets on, you start to fall behind a little bit. You're probably going to make that move or have that opportunity to get your bullpen going if you have to. Berkman was up the previous inning. We'll hope for a smooth inning here. He gets ahead 0-1.
He's got Peralta twice, ground ball to short, fly ball to left field. Rockies have 3 on the right side. Good late foul, 2-strike count. Outside, 1-2 with the fastball. Two and two. Now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Not only got a little rain, you got a little wind here at Coors Field.
And that misses, so a leadoff walk for Peralta. Third walk allowed by Hale. That is unusual. He had only 4 walks coming in his first 5 starts. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code is ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. So here's Paul Goldschmidt, 0 for 2 tonight, which is basically a protracted slump for him these days. Second in baseball in OPS. That's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. It's well over 1,100 in OPS.
One of the funny stories my son Parker told me, he was pitching in the Cal League, playing against Visalia with the Diamondbacks. The Goldschmidt's up his first time, and he's hitting about $3 million, and he's got a ton of home runs. He's going to be the MVP of the league. Check swing slider and the umpire at first calls him out. And Goldschmidt slams his bat, and they tossed him out of the game. And my son was like, "Great! I don't have to see him 3 more times. He's done."
Right.
You know, I mean, it was that type of hitter then. I mean, 4 years ago he was that type of hitter.
Well, he was in the Cal League the same year Nolan Arenado hit 20 and drove in over 100 in the Cal League.
A lot of talent in the Cal League that year. Guys that have gone on and played at the big league level.
This guy, he's like the All-American kid, Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, you know, when you reach that star status, you're almost into that fishbowl type deal. You just try to be a leader in your community with your family members. You don't want to ever embarrass your family, obviously, but you want to be a part of everything that's going on and in the community in Arizona, become the face of the organization. And the rain's starting to come a little harder now.
It's 1-2 on Paul Goldschmidt. You want to hear a stat that really is a testament to how gifted this guy is and what an extraordinary year he's had so far. He's hitting .384 when he's behind in the count. Think about that for a second.
So when the pitcher's ahead in the count,
like this situation,
like right now,
got you just where I want you, huh?
Such great hand-eye coordination. His hands start so high in the starting position, but as the pitch comes, boy, you see that load go to the backside. You see those hands start to drop, and from that shoulder to impact to the baseball, he is extremely quick.
That's Texas State, San Marcos, Texas. Two and two.
Good food, good place to sit when you want to stay dry at the Mountain Ranch Club, right?
Absolutely.
Are we doing that again this year? I gain about 5 pounds every time I do that.
Yeah, a little bit later on in the season.
Man.
This ball's lifted to deep center field. Charlie going back, and this one is in the fence. And Arizona now has a 5-3 lead. Paul Goldschmidt strikes again. His 20th home run of the year. RBIs 58 and 59. He is something else.
Yeah, he really is. Excuse me, deepest part of the ballpark to hit this baseball, and kind of a mistake. I think he wanted that ball on the outer half of the plate, not to the inner half of the plate. Charlie tracks it until it can't be tracked anymore. Yeah, Hale's reaction to this, he knew he'd made a mistake, and one of the best hitters in the game of baseball all of a sudden takes one to dead center field. He jumps, leapfrogs over Peterson with LA with 19, Arenado with 19, to come into 4th place now in the National League in home runs. So Stanton at 26, Harper 24, and Todd Frazier at 23. This ball's going to drop in front of Paulson.
So a bloop single for Tomas. Nobody out here in the 5th.
Yeah, Kristen Bergman is getting his work in quickly now after being heated up the previous inning. Steve Foster is going to jog to the mound to have a quick visit also to buy a little more time for Bergman. Of course, 5-10 throws down in the bullpen. You air it out pretty good, not with a lot of technical things going on in your delivery. Once you feel that arm's loose, that's when you back up onto the rubber and start firing some fastballs, 5 to 6, both sides of the plate. Spin a few sliders and a couple of changeups. And then given the tip of the cap, you're ready to go as the rain continues to fall here.
Yeah, people from around the country may not realize that Denver gets more than 300 days of sunshine, more than Maui. We've got a lot of rain. Way inside on Lamb. Boy, if you watch the first 3 innings, folks, David Hale was on his game. Ground ball after ground ball, just a walk and a hit allowed in the first 3 innings. 4th inning, 3 straight doubles, 3 runs end up scoring, and now the Goldschmidt 2-run home run. Tulowitzki catches the pop, 1 out. Chris Owings coming up. Tomas remains at first base. Showed bunt, pulled it back. Owings walk and a double to drive in a run. Five runs, 7 hits for Arizona. They've made 2 errors. The Rockies 3 runs, 5 hits. Conley a good block.
Try to go inside and see what they're giving a sign here. Nick Hundley is try to get through this inning. Circle finger typically means hard sinker. Like to get it inside, get the ball on the ground. Yeah, again, that ball missed location wise. Christian Berkman is ready to go down in the Rockies bullpen. He's standing and watching now.
David's had trouble, George, with that finishing pitch tonight.
Well, part of the problem you run into sometimes, you're trying to hit the outside corner, you're trying to create too much sink, so when you get to the front side of that arm, you pull it off. When you pull off, you're going to pull with your your throwing hand. And it's going to end up out of the strike zone. Sounds like an easy fix till you're in the heat of the game.
And that ball's foul. And another foul ball. Chris is out of South Carolina. In fact, his brother's playing at Coastal Carolina. That's a real good baseball program. Coastal Carolina.
Very good.
Born in Charleston, and boy, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family's that horrible tragedy earlier in the week. Rockies won't be able to spin one. Owings got up the line, 2 outs.
A ball hit right at Nolan. 2 hops right here. Nolan gets a hold of the baseball, fires on the second. DJ trying to make the exchange. It came up empty-handed on the completion of the double play.
So it's Saltalamacchia with Owings at first. Threat to run. And it's a base hit to right. And Barnes lobs it into second, first and third. He concedes obviously that Owings was going to make it safely to third. So Nick Ahmed coming up, and
Walt will make that move.
Yeah. Ahmed's 2 for 2 against him, and second and third time through the lineup did not go well for David Hale. Stake to an early 3-0 lead. It's now 5-3 Arizona, and the Rockies will make a pitching change with 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Was talking about Bergman earlier, called him a lifesaver. Here's how Walt Weiss describes what he's done this year.
He's our 911 guy. Yeah. You know, it's not a very glorified role, but it's a critical role, especially for where we play. You know, bridging 2 or 3 innings in a game is huge. It impacts us for the next 2 or 3 days. So and he's a guy that comes in, not only saves a pen, but he throws strikes. He's been effective. He gets outs.
So they're looking for some length from number 36, obviously, and sometimes I say this, maybe this is wrong, George. It's like a pinch pitcher, which, you know, pinch hitting is hard to do, let alone pinch pitching when you come in any kind of a situation.
Well, just shut down innings is what we're trying to do, Mark. You're just trying to shut down the inning and get it into the dugout and let your ball club work. And he's the 9th hitter due up. So, you know, do you get 2 innings out of him? You hope you get an inning and a third, and that's about it. That you work your way through the lineup again, and the Rockies put some runs on the board.
Quickly, a 2-strike count on Nick Ahmed. 2 singles and an RBI tonight. Runners at first and third. Owings at third. Saltalamacchia is at first. 2 runs in on the 2-run home run by Paul Goldschmidt earlier in the frame. And it continues to rain here at Coors Field. The game delayed initially by some 46 minutes. And that's high. We had a rain delay of 38 minutes last night. That was in the second inning. Day game tomorrow, and then the Rockies are off to the West Coast, Northern California. And they'll stay put for basically a week. 3 against the Giants, 3 against the A's. Runner going, bouncer to third. Arenado will throw across to end the inning. The 2-run home run by Paul Goldschmidt, his 20th, has given the Diamondbacks a 5-3 lead. old hat for this terrific grounds crew. They've had to work many extra hours this spring, to say the least. We'd like to welcome all of our Allo Communication viewers from Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Thank you for watching the Rockies on Root Sports. We greatly appreciate it. Be sure to tell us where you're watching from on Twitter at RootSports_RM. Utilize the hashtag #WhereWeRoot. Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Good town. Bottom of the 5th inning, Blackman, LeMahieu, Tulowitzki. Third time through the lineup for the Rockies against Allen Webster. They got 3 runs off him in the first 2 frames. They've had people on in every inning against Webster, but have not scored since the second when Nick Hundley hit the long home run to center field. Blackman, a 9-game hitting streak after his single in the 3rd.
Well, it's kind of funny. They were trying to fix the home plate area, and then DJ came up and said, all right, hey, let's get a little bit right here. Charlie came up, how about a little bit more here? Let's get a little raking done. And DJ headed on back, and they cleaned things up. And a lot of people working around the home plate area.
Charlie wants to get a little more stickum on that bat.
That's the big thing, the brow of the helmet. You get some rain on there, and then all of a sudden that drip starts dripping, and it's right in front of the eyes, or focus of the eyes, trying to come inside to Charlie.
And he pulls it to right for a base hit. The Blackman's second knock of the ball game, and the Rockies have the leading man on here in the 5th. That'll bring up LeMahieu. He singled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2.
Good base hit to right field by Charlie. Get things going to the top of this lineup. You're down 2. I think any other conditions, the way this is coming down at Coors Field right now, they may have pulled the tarp and let it go. Now they're going to let the Rockies swing the bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trying to get through 5 to make it an official ball game. Just a gut feeling.
Big jump, and Charlie's going to swipe second easily. That is stolen base number 18 for Blackman.
Why not? You think he's not going to steal a base? You got wet surface, you got mud, you got everything else. Charlie, big jump at first base. Remember Webster back in the 1st threw wild on a big lead by Charlie. Charlie well ahead of the throw from Saltalamacchia.
Big man who can run. Top 5 in the stolen base category in the National League for Blackman. Way in on LeMahieu, and it's 2-0.
It appears to be Delgado in their bullpen, not sure.
Charlie takes off for 3rd. He's going to easily swipe 3rd. Making like Ricky Henderson.
Well, if they're going to give it to you, why not take it?
3 pitches. He went from 1st to 3rd.
No look back. Not paying a bit of attention to him. Huge jump. Just like playing catch, like there's nobody on base. Saltalamacchia couldn't do a thing.
And again, it goes back to homework done hours before the ball game.
Well,
watching Webster, looking at him out of the stretch. Saltalamacchia saved that from going to the backstop. Backhanded pickup. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Well, what they're doing defensively right now, too, though, Drew, they're wide. I mean, they're really wide at second and short. They're not even making hardly any attempt whatsoever. See how far back they are? Look at the amount of lead you can get. Why wouldn't you take it? You got a 20-25 foot lead off a second. Pretty rough chance to get him out.
In that situation, you have the addition of DJ LeMahieu at 6'4" in the right-handed part of the batter's box. It's more difficult for a catcher. He's got to step back and throw.
He had an acre and a half to get a lead. Those guys were not going to move off defensively with a 5-3 lead. They're staying in their defensive positions to try to get the out. Charlie did a great job of taking that over. Boy, I tell you, DJ had done such a great job.
Yeah, you don't see that much. DJ in that situation, not making contact with the baseball. One out, and that'll bring up Troy Tulowitzki. Let's quickly check in with Mark.
I wanted to show you a tweet that came in from the Hall of Fame, and it's about Ricky Henderson, who made his debut on this day in 1979, stole his first bag, his first of 1,406. His last bag that he stole was against the Rockies when he was 44 back in 2003. And I was talking to Charlie Blackmon today about stealing 100 bags in a season, which Ricky did in his second year. And he was like, it seems crazy to him, Drew and George, that you can do that. But he said so many things have to work out now in baseball, especially with how hard pitchers throw and how quick they are to the plate. It's a different game.
Well, there's no question it's a different game. But, Mark, it was a different game when Ricky was on, too, because you became aware of Ricky.
Yeah, he stole his first base. He was 20 years old on this day. He went on and stole 33 the rest of 79, then 100 the next year. And as you know, he just kept going from there.
The amazing thing is it's so hard on the body. And Ricky's body really didn't change a lot from the time he was 20 till he left at 44. I mean, he was a brick house. (2-0) on Troy. Outside 3-0 with Arenado on deck. One out. Blackmon at third after the 2 stolen bases.
If you're wondering at home, 100 bases has been stolen 20 different times in a single season. Eight times since 1900. Huh.
And a 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Nolan. Gets Chip Hale on the phone.
Now Delgado, the heavy sinker's been warming up. Chip Hale with a 5-3 lead's not going to let Webster. And again, I think maybe a little effect to Webster when he had the long half inning in here. And the rain has diminished here quite a bit, but Chip Hale's going to go get the baseball. I don't know, head to the dugout. 2 outs away from a W.
Fifth inning, Nolan Arenado coming up against Randall Delgado. League leaders brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. There's a quartet of terrific third basemen all vying to start in the National League All-Star game, and all are deserving of being there. Chris Bryant, the youngest of the group, or the newest to the big leagues, I should say. Matt Carpenter's had a terrific first half. Todd Frazier hitting the long ball for the Reds, and Nolan's numbers certainly speak for themselves, and especially when you add in what he does defensively. They were having this discussion today, this morning actually, on MLB Network, our friends Matt Vasgersian and Mark DeRosa, about how this era in the National League has produced some terrific young third basemen. So here's Nolan. He's popped out to the left side twice, looking for something up. He can drive, and he gets a base hit to center field. That'll work, and it's a 5-4 game as Blackmon scores.
Delgado pitched an inning and a third of shutout baseball, hitless baseball last night. Nolan, after 2 at-bats in this ball game, where Nolan had popped the ball up, 1 to short, 1 to third, comes through and gets his 59th RBI on a slider that was on the outer half of the plate. Nolan went out and got it on the Subaru Supermo. You'll see the shot back up the middle. And then Charlie able to trot home, and Tulowitzki into second. Nolan now 1 for 5 against Delgado in his career.
So here's Ben Paulson. A tweet from teammate John Axford promoting his buddy.
That tweet came out 11 hours ago. Support him also.
Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
Minimal amount of pitches for Delgado yesterday, and we wonder how many times going back-to-back days. He's thrown 3 pitches, 2 strikes so far. Nolan ambushed that slider first at bat to drive in his 59th.
Beam under the hands, and it's 1-2. Good eye. 2-2.
Miller has started to throw as the Rockies work their way down this lineup with Paulson up. You got to be prepared in case you're going to pinch hit for Berkman.
And this game will be decided on both sides by the bullpens. Webster going just 4 1/3. Hale less than 5 innings. Good job sacrificing the bat as he fouled off a borderline pitch. Hale went 4 2/3 and allowed 5 runs on 8 hits.
Eight times this year, including 3 in a row one time. So he's worked a lot of back-to-back days talking about Delgado. Thank you, Dougie.
And this is hooked the other direction.
Went hard away, trying to come soft in.
That missed. 3-2. They check it out at third with Jeff Nelson. No swing. Rockies, for the first time this year, scored 10 runs in back-to-back ball games. 10 on Sunday, 10 last night. 4 runs, 7 hits this evening as they hit in the bottom of the 5th. 2 on and 1 out in a 5-4 ball game. And that missed, ball 4. Corey Blazer said it was outside. Randall Delgado peers in, and it appears that it was off the plate. And the bases are loaded for Lean Rosario.
And not only was it in, it was down off of the plate. He's come in now and give up a base hit. He's allowed one runner to come in. And as he takes on Rosario, who's 1 for 2 in his career versus Delgado. And the pitch appears, as you can see, coming into the home plate area. Corey Blazer sitting up on the inside part of that right shoulder of Saltalamacchia. The Rockies this year are 276 with the bases loaded, 8 for 29. First plate appearance in 15 for Willeen with the bases loaded.
And a little bit anxious. He chased a pitch, a slider in the dirt. 0-1. He'll take a walk, trying to collect his thoughts. The baby bull with the bases full. Tulowitzki at third, Arenado at second, and an RBI single, and Paulson at first. He walked.
We almost buried that one to the screen.
Randall Delgado, we're talking about, worked an inning and a third yesterday. Willeen did not face him in yesterday's game. Pollock shaded a little bit toward right center. Big gap in left center. Outside, it's 2-1. Trying to go off speed. Now the count tilts in favor of Willeen. Strikeout and an infield hit tonight for Rosario. And that's off the plate. 3-1. Chipale pacing. Hundley on deck.
They try to make a move where you bring in a guy that's a sinker baller. You had runners on first and third, and you're trying to get a ground ball double play. Instead, you give up a base hit, then the walk. Now 3-1 to Willeen.
And he got a pitch to swing at there. Center fastball at 96. There it is, right in the heart of the fourth strike zone. You don't want to miss those. Full count on the baby bull. And this ball is blooped to shallow right. It'll drop. Good read at second by Arenado. He's going to put on the brakes and head back to third, though. He came halfway home. He was right behind Tulowitzki. And then he slammed on the brakes as he watched the throw of Tomas. The game is tied at 5 on the single by Willeen. And the bases remain loaded for Nick Hundley.
And Mike Harkey's going to the mound to have a visit. How big of a get out of inning was it for Berkman to give them a chance? You know, Mike Harkey's out there and talking. He just can't believe what he's watched. And this is exactly what happens when you fall behind in counts. You give good hitters chances and they take advantage of you. And that's exactly what Marlins Rosario has done.
Good decision by Arenado. Knowing the score, knowing where they are in the lineup. Got a guy who swung the bat very well all year long in Hundley. No point pressing the issue.
He got a little better read on it than Troy did. You can see him at that point. They're just waving everybody. Then the brakes got slammed on, and it was a good decision to get back. He's out. Nick Hundley in his career versus Delgado, 0 for 4. So it's his turn to be successful.
Home run and a fly ball to center tonight for Nick.
I mentioned this after that base hit when they saw Berkman in the dugout shaking hands, how big it was for him to get out of that inning with no more damage incurred. Gave the Rockies a chance to get back in. That's what Walt's talking about. Maintaining the game, maintaining your inning.
All in a strike. Tell you what, all the hitters in this sequence, George, have done a good job at making Delgado elevate. And if he didn't elevate, they took the walk. In the case of Rosario, he finally got a couple pitches up to work with, and the last one resulted in a soft single to right. Nick Hundley just spit on a pitch that was destined to produce a ground ball. There's the 1-1. And again, he does the same thing there, 2-1.
Chapman, the left-hander, is warming up in their bullpen now. Trying to see which way they'll go to get out of this inning.
Throw one out in the gap now. Let everybody run on base. 3-1 on Hundley. Barnes is next. High ball 4. That forces in the go-ahead run. Nick Hundley with a patient at bat. His 26th RBI. Come on down, Nolan Arenado. Rockies lead it 6-5. Brandon Barnes looking at Chip Hale in the Arizona dugout, seeing if he will face Delgado or Chafin.
It's going to be Chafin. It's going to be a double switch more than likely. See what he's going to do here.
So Delgado comes in. He faces 4 hitters, and he didn't retire any of them. 2 singles, 2 walks. And he was real sharp yesterday. So the Rockies back in front 6-5. Pennington will come in. Ahmed will check out. Rockies lead. The Rockies have scored 3 here in the bottom of the 5th. They're up 6-5, and they may not be done. They have the bases loaded. With the double switch, Cliff Pennington will play shortstop. Nick Ahmed comes out, and Andrew Chafin is now on the hill. Former #1 pick of Arizona back in 2011 out of Kent State University. He's an Ohio native, and he's done a very good job this year for the Diamondbacks, especially against lefties, but Georgie's handled righties also, and Brandon Barnes will be first up.
189 that right-handers have hit against him this year. So that's kind of an interesting note. He's inherited 36 would-be base runners. Only 26 have scored. He's successful 72% of the time. 25 strikeouts in 36 innings. Brandon Barnes has never faced him.
Barnes, a ground ball to short and a walk. Takes a strike. Paulson's at third now. Rosario, who singled to drive in a run, is at second. Nick Hundley just walked to drive in a run. He's at first. 1 out. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barnes. Barnes, he hit .371 at Coors Field this year. He's in there. 316 with runners in scoring position. Very good numbers, as you see, against Arizona in his career. We have to be impressed with the takes by the Rockies in this inning in particular. They have not expanded the zone. And it's 3-2 on Barnes.
9 walks in those 36 innings. Everything's in the bottom half of the strike zone or out of the zone.
Bergman's in the on-deck circle for the moment. Mike McHenry has a bat and a helmet, and looks like he means business.
Well, they don't have anybody warming up in the bullpen, so if you're trying to counter any of this,
it's a ground ball deep hole. It is a terrific play by Pennington. And you talk about the ball always finds you. He had 1 play, and that was to third. So frequently with runners at first and second or bases loaded, the shortstop will remind the third baseman, in the hole I may come your way. And Lamb recovered to the bag, and they get the force out there, but the run scores.
Entering into the ball game, first ball out of the chute that they put in play is to Pennington. He does make the nice play to Lamb. It's all about communication too between your 2 infielders on the right side. Ball hit hold in the deep. I'm coming to you. I'm not going to even try to go to first base. First and second now, but the Rockies pick up a run at 7-5. How sweet is that? Berge throws a third of an inning, stands to get the win in this game if it stays the same. Nice.
Justin Miller will be next for the Rockies. 2 on, 2 outs for McHenry. Rockies have 4 on their bench, and Cargo's probably a maybe, though he did hit before the game inside. When his group was up, that's when the rain started to fall, and he had to come off the field and hit indoors. This is sharply hit, but it's right at the second baseman, Chris Owings. That'll end the inning. The Rockies send 9 to the plate in the 5th, and they score 4 runs to retake the lead, 7-5, as we head to the 6th. Well, it's been an interesting night, weather-wise, baseball-wise, and the Rockies, we're happy to report, have a 7-5 lead as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It has rained intermittently. At the outset, the ball game was delayed by 46 minutes. And guess what? The Rockies have also hit that magic number of 7 again. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locales tomorrow. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 in the afternoon to get your Rockies taco special with Moss at Taco Bell. Along with George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Justin Miller will take the baseball in the 6th inning. It'll be Cliff Pennington, A.J. Pollock, and David Peralta in the revamped Arizona lineup. Justin Miller called up recently. It'll be his 4th appearance.
Pitched well. 3-point earned run average, 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, no walks.
Big arm. When was the last time you called down to the bullpen and you spoke with somebody who said, well, he's kind of a soft toss and righty? They don't exist. Not down to the bullpens anymore.
Well, mostly it's that long guy that does, like a Berkman. It's 89, 91, 92 miles an hour to get you out of that inning. Throw strikes, might have to eat up 3 or 4 innings. A lot of guys that your power guys in your bullpen are 2-pitch mix. You know, they didn't make it out of there with a slider, or as a starter, I should say. You know, they flip them around, put them down in the bullpen, let them air it out. Miller got 11+ innings a year ago with the Detroit Tigers. And getting a chance here with the Rockies.
Well, that 4-run inning for the Rockies pleased all Rockies fans, especially those good folks watching up in Scottsbluff tonight, including Corey Sullivan's brothers-in-laws, the Neefords, Mark and Marcia.
So you got a text from Corey to say that.
No, I knew that.
Did you know that stuff?
I know Corey's extended family.
Absolutely.
So here's Cliff Pennington. Tell you what, the Rockies would still be at the plate if Pennington didn't make that good play on Barnes' ground ball that was ticketed for left field.
Smart player, been around for a while, been an everyday guy for a long time. As the bat diminished a little bit, has been put in a more reserve role. Friedrich, the left-hander, has started to throw down in the Rockies bullpen.
1 ball, 1 strike. Miller from that extreme closed position on the third base side of the rubber, trying to hide the baseball.
Well, you're always trying to look for new kind of tricks. Kind of has the St. Louis Cardinal Jason Mott look, who's now with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
You know, when you do scouting reports and you write up players, there's always a little box at the bottom. Give me a comparison of who you think they could be. If you watched him at the minor league level with this delivery, you would say Jason Mott.
Three and 1. That's a baseball cliche. When your team goes out and has a big inning offensively, heat up that strike zone, get them right back on offense as quickly as you can.
Well, I think that's true in any sport. I think it's true in football. You score the touchdown, you want to have a stop, get the ball back, score another.
Yeah, sure thing. 3-1, and Pennington lines it left center field. That's going to get down. Charlie's going to cut it off. Pennington on a hard turn will stop and head back to first. Nicely done out there by Charlie Blackmon. So a leadoff single for Pennington, and that'll bring up A.J. Pollock.
Scott Oberg has now joined Christian Friedrich, getting loose down in the bullpen. Oberg looked in a perfect inning last night. A couple of ground balls and a fly ball.
Here's the issue. 2 doors down, you have Mr. Goldschmidt.
Well, you want to be able to have that shutdown, so you just put 2. You got an 8-man bullpen, all right? You're trying to get through the 6th inning here. If you got to bring Friedrich in to get Peralta, okay, then you bring in Oberg to get Goldschmidt. Managing the bullpen, managing the game.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pollock hitting .409 against the Rockies this year. A.J. Pollock grew up in Connecticut and then went on to stardom in South Bend for the Irish. First round pick for the Diamondbacks. 2009 outside 2-1. Job by Miller. He got slider, and Pollock was looking for the heater. It's 2-2.
We like to see this. It's a hard slider, tight rotation and spin, but you take it off of the plate. Defensively, the Rockies slight pull for Pollock, so it could be cheating on the fastball. Got a little bit open stance, get out front, hit the ball to the left side.
Fouled off.
Having fun at the yard, isn't he? Down in the right field corner. Safe place for that little big.
Two and too low. Gets 1, and that's it. That ball was sharply hit. Pollock runs well. Troy stayed with it. Got Pennington, and there's 1 out with Pollock at first.
Miller worked a third of an inning. He got 1 hit and no outs. Christian Friedrich will come on to face Peralta unless they decide to make a switch and go to their bench.
I think Walt's going to piecemeal this whole thing.
You have to. I mean, you get your matchups you want to. You got a 2-run lead. You fought to get there. You got an 8-man bullpen. Why not piecemeal?
Yep. Peralta is coming to bat, and the Rockies will have Christian Friedrich try to retire him, and then with Goldschmidt on deck, Scott Oberg continues to throw in the Rockies bullpen. We're in the 6th inning. 31st appearance for Christian.
Done a pretty nice job, but the left-hander's just 228 with a home run. That's all he's going to get to look at. Right-handers have hit 354 against him. Peralta 1 for 3 in his career. A single to left field. Arizona's 3 for 5 today with runners in scoring position. There's not one in position yet, but that's what they are.
Good speed at first and Pollock. Lifted to center field, fairly deep and playable. Blackman's got it. Pollock will stay put at first, though he tagged. There are 2 outs, and with Goldschmidt coming up, we'll see Walt Weiss.
Well, I think this is what you want to do. I mean, they believe this shows you an awful lot. Walt Weiss believes in the hard-throwing right-hander, and that's what he's going to do. Hey, I'll work my way through this lineup. He watched Bobby Cox do it a number of years. He's watched Tony La Russa do it.
Bruce Bochy does a lot of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, just like you take a shot with your #1 pinch hitter to win the game in the 6th or 7th inning, you do this with your bullpen. You take a shot to shut this thing down, and the Rockies lead at 7-5. Shut it down.
Inning for Arizona. A.J. Pollock remains at first base, and Paul Goldschmidt, who had a 2-run home run last inning, is coming up. He's going to face Scott Oberg. National champions. Congratulations to the University of Virginia. They knocked off Vanderbilt, the defending national champions, 4-2. They came from behind. They lost game 1 of the College World Series in Omaha. They won last night, and they win tonight. So congrats to the Wahoos.
First national championship for them.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Well, the Giants are playing the Padres tonight. We have that on behind us. Javi Lopez is celebrating down in that Giant bullpen somewhere, right?
Yeah, there you go. Oberg is going to come on to face Mr. Goldschmidt. Not a lot of matchup history here with these two. Get ahead, strike 1. 95-mile-an-hour heater.
You know, it's one of those situations, George. And this is what Goldschmidt can do to you.
No, that's what he did to us.
Yeah, exactly. For Scott, he just got to let it all hang out, man. This is his guy.
No reason to hold anything back.
He's pumping him in there at 96, a strike, and this one's inside. So it's 1-1 on Goldschmidt.
Oberg has
got game leading baseball with a .355 average.
Oberg has gotten him twice. He's 0 for 2. Inherited runners. How about this? Oberg only 1 of 17 have scored.
And this is a bouncer to short. Tulowitzki across the diamond. Goldschmidt is out. Oberg did his job after Christian Friedrich did his. So we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Rockies up by 2.
Seven to 5. They've been out hit though 9-8. But earlier today, Brandon Barnes, we showed you a piece earlier in the telecast of him being mic'd up and visiting, and today he took a moment to spend some time with the celebrity bat kid.
How old are you? 8? No, you're like 12. You're too big to be 8. You want this bat back? Can I use it for batting practice? I can use it? How about this? I use this one, you can have mine. No, you want the one with autographs on it, man. My bat's not worth anything. There you go, buddy. Have a good day, all right?
Well, on top of that, Brandon was great with the celebrity bat kid today, but I also want to mention Nolan Arenado today. Today they had your youth baseball clinic here at Coors Field. The staff of Jason, they were all here. Jason Fleming, all the guys were here, and girls at 6:45 in the morning to set that up and get it going. And Nolan spent some time with the youngsters this afternoon about 1:30 here at the ballpark.
Charlie with a 2-0 count against Andrew Chafin. Brandon Barnes brings smiles to his teammates' faces every day and anybody else he comes in contact with. Just a good guy. I can't find the baseball, George. It disappeared. Oh, that guy got it.
He hadn't gone on a date with her yet, but he gave her a ball and said, "Hey, do you want to go on a date?" What do you think? Think that happened? Probably.
3-1.
How about that? You got that,
Charlie?
Who that is? You know what that is? From the Sandlot?
Oh, yeah. 3-1 pitch lifted to center field. Pollock is out there. One got DJ LeMahieu's 1 for 3. He'll come up here in the 6th. Rockies leading by 2. Strike on the outside corner. One ball, one strike on LeMahieu. Came into the game hitting .316, good for 6th in the National League. Rockies started the year with a 4-game winning streak. They had another 4-game winning streak at the end of May. And they're trying for the 3rd time to match that. If they can keep the lead here in the final 3 frames. And it's out on the road for 10 days. We mentioned they'll be in San Francisco for 6. Then go across the bay, play Oakland, and then it's back to Arizona. It's strike 3. Rockies will finish that road trip in Phoenix. 2 outs. Tulowitzki will come up. Troy an RBI single, pop to first, and then a walk and a run scored in the 5th.
Following the Rockies with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live Rockies baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat now.
A strike on Troy, 1-1. Tulo's got a knock in 20 of 21 ball games. Rockies with 32 runs over their last 4 games. That'll work. Said it earlier. We showed a graphic. The Rockies have now taken over the lead in the National League in runs scored. It'll be very interesting to see how things transpire the next couple of months. Warm weather. That familiarity of Coors Field, tonight aside, continued good weather. See if the Rockies can turn around what has been a very slow start in terms of wins and losses here at 20th and Blake. Playing better of late, though.
They have been. The Dodgers on top of the Cubs 5-2. St. Louis, I mentioned earlier, 6-1 winner. The Mets lose to Milwaukee 4-1. San Francisco up 6-0 over San Diego.
2-2 on Troy. Marco Estrada, see that, George? Took a perfect game into the 8th earlier today. For Toronto, broken up on an infield hit.
Mets have lost 7 in a row, Dougie tells me. Right in the middle of the hunt a week ago. All of a sudden, Washington, even though they're beat up, they got a 3-game lead now. They beat Atlanta tonight 2-1.
My dad's not going to be in a real good mood.
No, he's not.
This ball is hit well to right field, and it is caught out there in front of the wall by Tomas. So it turns into a 1-2-3 inning. That's the first for the Diamondbacks tonight. The Rockies have a 7-5 lead. We go to inning number 7 at Coors Field. Tomas, Jake Lamb, Chris Owings, Scott Oberg will continue on. Let's check our CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's the upcoming schedule that takes us into July. As we've been talking about, the Rockies will play 3 on the West Coast against the Giants, 3 across the Bay against the Oakland A's, and then it's on to Arizona to face the Diamondbacks 4 times. When the Rockies come home, they'll see the Angels again. On track, the Angels will come in. And then the Atlanta Braves. Rockies have not seen Freddie Gonzalez's team this year. First pitch is lined into right center field. Tomas with a single. Jake Lamb, a double to drive in a run in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Oberg got Goldschmidt to end the 6th inning. Rockies used 3 pitchers in that 6th inning. Justin Miller, Christian Friedrich, Scott Oberg. 2-0. When Scott's been effective, he's gotten a lot of ground balls. When that sinker's flattened out, he's given up some long balls. Corey Blazer says that's a strike. 2-1. That's going to go to the backstop, and now the double play is no longer an option. So a wild pitch. Tomas to second. That's a 3-1 count on Jake Lamb. Nobody warming in the Rockies bullpen, but now some guys starting to stir.
Well, you got the one left-hander, and you know this lineup's going to come around again. It's a changeup, overcooked and out of the reach of Nick Hundley. A severely, poorly thrown wild changeup to get all the way back to the screen from Scott Oberg. And a 3-1 count on the left-hander.
Ground ball to short. That's a shame. That would have been an opportunity potentially for a double play ball. Good throw by Troy. Tomas has to stay put. There's one out. That'll bring up Chris Owings.
Well, from where he's playing up the middle, he's got to break hard to his right, backhand the baseball, secure that, and then boy, what a snap throw. Strong arm. Seen it many times from Troy, able to make the play at first base. And with Owings up, 236 average on the year. Just a couple of home runs, 18 RBIs now after won tonight's ball game. Caught Nolan behind the back, trying to lay the bunt down. Owings 194 average with runners in scoring position this year to go along with his 236 season average.
And Scott's ahead 0-2.
A decent crowd when the night started out. Unfortunately, the rain hit, and a lot of them headed home right after that second wave of rain that came through and stuck around for about an inning as the Cubs played through it.
And Owens lifts this to center field. Tagging is Tomas, and here's the throw to third. Pretty good deke by Arenado. It's right on the money, just a tad bit late. 2 outs, Tomas at third, and that'll bring up Saltalamacchia. Single and a walk tonight, as well as a ground out, 1 for 2.
Well, they got the left-hander Dorn out in the on-deck circle. Obviously, hadn't been announced yet. You got Saltalamacchia, who struggled this year, an average at 186. He's 1 for 2 today. A walk, a single, and a fielder's choice. Threw that ball right by him.
Saltalamacchia on the road this year between his 2 clubs, Miami and Arizona, is just 3 for 36.
Tell you what, this fastball registered on the board here at 97 miles an hour with tail and sink. Foul tipped and held on to by Nick Hundley. This one will miss wide of the plate.
And he went around clearly, 1 and 2.
Well, they hit early the first day here. Mark Grace spent a lot of time with Saltalamacchia working on his hands, working in positioning, certain pitches. Once a guy hits for a certain number, you feel like they can do it again and again. So that's why you are the instructor that you are. A pretty good instructor, Mark Grace.
Did he go? Yes, he did, says Jeff Nelson, inning over. Oberg strikes out Saltalamacchia. Tomas left at third. Stretch time at Coors Field. Rockies 7, Diamondbacks 5.
Colorado's #1 volume Lexi Feeler. Paul Goldschmidt's 2-run home run back in the 5th inning and landed out in the dead center field. At that time, it gave the Diamondbacks the lead. Delgado came in, and it was Arenado's turn to return the favor to score Charlie Blackmon, and then it was Willeen Rosario with the base hit. 4 runs in the 5th to retake the lead, 7-5. The walk to Nick Hundley. That brought in another one, and then Brandon Barnes drove one in with a hard grounder to play third. And the Rockies lead it 7-5. And let's check in real quick with Mark Stout.
All right, Frage, Nolan leading off again. He's got a ribby and a run today. Always have fun with Charlie Blackmon. He's our go-to guy. We have some fun questions. I just said, tell us about Nolan Arenado at the plate.
He just keeps hitting balls over the fence, like it's easy. Like, you know, like the thing about him too is he'll have like an awful at bat, like it'll look bad, or even in the same at bat, he'll swing in a pitch in the dirt. And then he'll be like, okay, like now I'll start trying. And then hit the next pitch in the gap or over the fence.
The guy can hit. And here he is leading off the bottom of the 7th.
Mark, he can hit. No question about that. Enrique Burgos, who's a real hard throwers in the ball game for the Arizona Diamondbacks. That pitch bounces up there at 97. It's 1-0 on Nolan. An RBI single in the 5th inning.
Well, Bergios got here. They sent out Addison Reed, the closer that they had received from the Chicago White Sox in that trade of Adam Eaton. Matt Davidson was also a part of that. Davidson's still in AAA with the White Sox, but Bergios a couple of appearances at AAA Reno, and then here he comes. So what do I call it? Bergios, and it's Burgos, correct? Or?
Yep, Burgos.
There you go.
Nolan had the Adrian Beltre swing going there. Dropped to that back knee.
The response time to 97, 98 miles an hour. Canely, the right-hander, warming up for the Rockies down in the bullpen. Tommy threw an inning last night. I had ones across the board.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rockies up 3-0, down 5-3. Just saw it on the Cooney Lexus look back. Now have a 7-5 lead. Two. That's in the dirt. 3-2.
You know what?
Swing.
That's going to be a lot of fun to catch.
How about
97-mile-an-hour heaters in the dirt, 90-mile-an-hour sliders in the dirt.
Salty saying, Enrique, how about reaching? How about throwing 160 feet 6 inches here? Three and 2 on Nolan. And this ball lifted to deep left field, way back, and caught at the wall.
Too much topspin. Man. Every time the foul ball leaves his bat, you're thinking about it gets up into the air, high drives, everybody gets on the edge of their seat, as they should.
Get it off the end a little bit.
Well, we're going to find out right now in the Subaru Super Bowl whether he got it right on the end of the bat. Yes, a little bit out front, about 2 inches down, or that ball's probably out of the ballpark. No one thought it had a chance when it left the bat.
Ben Paulson, and Ben fouls that pitch off. And you mentioned the trade that got Burgos to wear an Arizona Diamondback uniform. Since the end of last season, the Diamondbacks have traded away big leaguers Bronson Arroyo just a few days ago, Didi Gregorius, Miguel Montero, who's clubhouse leader, terrific player, Wade Miley to Boston. That's how Alan Webster got here. Trevor Cahill,
who got released.
Yeah. Fidel Nuno and Mark Trumbo not all that long ago to Seattle. So the combination of Tony La Russa and Dave Stewart trying to remake this Arizona Diamondback club.
Archie Bradley coming back, one of their young stars. If you remember, Carlos Gonzalez hit him with that line drive. Came off the disabled list, didn't pitch very well. He's on a rehab now. His shoulder had come up tweaking a little bit, so Archie was sent back to AAA to start a rehab tonight. Went 4 innings, 3 runs tonight. He gave up a 3-run home run in the start for Reno. The Isotopes came up short tonight. They actually scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning. They lost 7-6. Nelson Gonzalez took the loss in the ball game.
Two and 2 on Paulson with 1 out. And no swing. He has pitched well in his career in a Rockies uniform as a minor leaguers in Modesto now. Name to keep at the forefront of your mind. Antonio Senzatella. This ball's fouled back.
The young man had a very good year last year in Asheville. Took the step forward.
He, along with Jordan Patterson, an outfielder, Ryan McMahon, well thought of third base prospect. One of the Cal League All-Star game. That's ball 4.
Well, let's take a look at the Fraser Farm report. We put this together this afternoon. John Gray, the former University of Oklahoma standout, #1 draft pick of the Rockies, 3-5 with the last 10. Impressive with 3-2, 274 earned run average. Mac McBride, the leading hitter there at 332 with 10 home runs and 32 RBIs. Take a look at New Britain and what they've done there. Shane Carl, 8-4, 344. Austin House now has 19 saves. Trevor Story with a 290 average, 10 home runs, 39 RBIs. Tom Murphy with 10 home runs and 39 RBIs.
Trevor snapped out of a 1-for-21 slide.
Wow, that's a pretty good double play this time.
Yep, on the bag. He stayed on the bag. It is a double play. That was a great job by Pennington.
I really don't think he stayed on the bag.
Well,
I really don't. Walt's waiting for the look back. I really thought Goldschmidt came off.
Tell you what, the initial part of it, though, was right. Pennington was terrific. On
well, he was outstanding. So was the double play here, but then it kind of a spinner away. Let's see if he stayed on. I thought his foot came off right at the last. I don't think his foot was on there.
I think you're right. I think it came off at the very end. Ball and glove. Oh boy, that's close.
How about that? They give him the earmuff look. Yeah, I don't know now. Different look.
Well, Walt's going to challenge it. This Subaru review, whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes. And that's what we'll get from New York. Finny had to finish up on Trevor Story. He was 1 for his prior 21. He had a 4-hit game last night, including 3 doubles.
Yeah, we took it all the way down to Modesto tonight, and then taking another look at what they've done there. We'll take more looks here. They did call him out. We'll come back and visit Modesto when we get back from the break.
Rockies leading 7-5 as we go to the 8th inning at Coors Field. Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Rockies leading the Diamondbacks 7-5. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stout on this somewhat inclement Wednesday night. Cargo is in there defensively in right field. Brandon Barnes will skip over to left field, and Ben Paulson, who was in left field, will take Willeen Rosario's spot at first base. And Tommy Kahnle is going to throw the 8th inning. Hard throwing young man from the Albany, Schenectady area of New York State.
Last night I mentioned a hit and a walk and a run came in. We'll come on now to try to face Dorn, who will pinch hit in the 8-hole. Then it'll be Pennington. Well, look at what Tommy Kahnle's done on the year. 11th game for him to appear in. 159 earned run average, 12 strikeouts. The walk's a little high, 7. Only 1 home run given up, and the opposition just a $184 against Tommy.
So it is Danny Dorn, and then Cliff Pennington and A.J. Pollock here in the 8th, a 2-run game. And the first pitch is hit in the air to center field. Charlie Blackmon has made himself a really good center fielder. And that's not to say he wasn't a good outfielder prior, but it just comes back to the preparation. And Charlie works in the offseason. I know he's worked with a track coach in years past. Just watch him run to spots. Always gets his feet in good position. Good routes to the baseball typically. 1 out. Pennington, his second at bat, he singled. Came in a double switch in the 6th inning. Pennington's a product of Texas A&M. In fact, he was drafted in the 05 draft, 14 selections after the Rockies took Troy Tulowitzki out of Long Beach State. 1-1 on Pennington. Switch hitting middle infielder, and it's swung on a miss. 1-2. 90-mile-an-hour changeup. Two and two. Pennington wastes that pitch.
Pretty confident in his changeup with a 3-2 count. He threw it at 89 miles an hour. A very good change. Kahnle also has that explosive type fastball. Take a peek in. Go back to the changeup. Yeah, stay right with it. Able to foul off the last change. Finish this, put it in the dirt, see if you get him to chase.
Got him.
He did. Good pitch.
Yep, real good pitch. 2 outs, nobody on for A.J. Pollock.
The Subaru Supermo. Here's that good changeup working down and away to the left-hander at 89 miles an hour. And we'll finish up the farm report real quick. Musgrave at Modesto 8-1, 310. Sensatella, who Drew spoke about, 4-3, 231. He's on the disabled list at this time. Tapia, the well thought of young outfielder, 4-3, 231, or excuse me, 307 average. He's hit 19 doubles along with those 41 RBIs. And Ryan McMahon, .293, 6 and 32 with 24 doubles. Both players were on the All-Star team in the Cali. The farm is growing.
Pollock go for 4. And this is fouled straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes on AJ. Rockies with 7 runs on 8 hits, no errors, 5 runs, 10 hits, and a couple of errors. They came in the first inning. First 2 hitters of the game, in fact, for Arizona. 1 and 2. Got him with the heavy fastball at 97. Good work from Tommy Kahnle. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies 2-run lead intact. Tonight's Game Changer is brought to you by T-Mobile. How about the work of Charlie Blackmon? Charlie quietly thrown out a couple hits. He scored a couple runs and also has swiped a couple of bases. In fact, almost on successive pitches. He went from first to third. Typical night at the office for Charlie. Here he is coming on down. Our T-Mobile Game Changer, Charlie Blackmon. Rockies will have in the 8th inning Nick Hundley, Brandon Barnes, and then Daniel Descalso, it looks like. Leading things off will be Nick Hundley against Daniel Hudson. Daniel's a nice story. He's a guy that's come back now twice from Tommy John surgery. He's been throwing the baseball in a setup role very, very well, and he's touched 99 a couple times. First fastball's at 96. He's now used out of the pen. I remember when he was a starting pitcher, he was a handful. And that's strike 2. pops it up. Foul ground. Easy play for Paul Goldschmidt.
Rockies dugout stores are the place for all things Rockies, with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets, plus exclusive new Peanuts bobblehead of the month. You gonna go by and get yours?
Sure. Brandon Barnes, 0 for 2 and a walk. He drove in a run on a fielder's choice ground out in the 5th inning. That was the key inning for the Rockies. They went from a 5-3 deficit to this 7-5 lead they're enjoying, and that's softly hit to second. I'll tell you, it would have been interesting. That ball came very close. See if we can see it on the replay. Looked like from up here they came very close to hitting the bag at second.
But it didn't. Able to get over and backhand the baseball rather quickly. I didn't know if it did or not. One more look at it. You get a shot what Drew's talking about. Yeah, maybe it did hit it. Hit right on top of it, didn't it? Yep, just right over the top of it. Yep.
2 outs. Daniel Descalso. Little pinch hit for Tommy Kahnle. John Axford getting ready to go to close this one out for the Rockies.
Yeah, that 9th inning's never easy. Peralta, Goldschmidt, and Tomas will be the 3 hitters he'll face. The key, get your leadoff man. Tell you what, he sounds fast. 96 with that heat.
It does.
There's Axford as he gets prepared for the 9th inning.
Descalso taken all the way, 3-1. Rockies, after hitting 5 home runs last night, have hit 1 tonight. Nick Hundley in the 2nd inning went over the center field fence comfortably. Strikeout by Hudson takes us to the 9th inning. John Axford, when we come back, will try to get the final 3 outs as the Rockies lead the D-backs 7-5. Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. By Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. And by Jack in the Box, taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. Rockies leading 7-5. John Axford will face David Peralta, Paul Goldschmidt, and Yasmani Tomas. And let's check in with Jenny.
Hey Drew, coming up on the Toyota postgame show, we'll talk about Hundo joining in on the fun. It was Nick Hundley with the home run tonight. He missed the big home run party yesterday, but that's okay. The Rockies took it tonight. And then we'll talk about the big five. The fifth inning yesterday, 6 runs for the Rockies today, 4 runs. And we will finish it off with Chucky Hustle. The guy has 2 stolen bases, 19 total in the season. That's 3rd in Major League Baseball. We'll finish out this game and we'll see you right afterwards, Drew.
All right, Jenny, that sounds like a terrific plan. So John Axford, who's been perfect in this role, and he's turned out to be a great signing by the Rockies. They had signed him a minor league deal with plenty of money if he made the big league team. They took care of that in spring training, and John was supposed to be in a setup role initially for LaTroy Hawkins. LaTroy lost that role. Adam Ottavino assumed it, and Adam Ottavino was throwing the ball as well as any reliever in baseball, and then he suffered the ligament damage, the tear, and he had to undergo Tommy John surgery. And John has stepped up in the Rockies when they have a lead like this. He has been lights out.
Well, the same guy that you watched in a Milwaukee uniform that threw out 46 saves in a single season. He's 12 for 12 so far.
Throwing the ball like he did in Milwaukee, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And again, he's never seen Peralta, so this is a matchup new for both of these guys. Diamondbacks committed a couple of errors in the first inning. The Rockies, though, have stole bases, took advantage of some defensive miscues, and a 7-5 lead.
John is the 6th man to come out of the bullpen tonight. David Hale went just 4 2/3. So it's pitcher number 7 overall. However, you have to get it done. And this is slowly hit. And that's going to be impossible play. So David Peralta with an excuse me single. And now the tying run at the plate in Paul Goldschmidt.
And Goldschmidt in his career 1 for 5, and that one hit was not a home run against Axford.
Again, Goldschmidt, you play somewhat straight up defensively because he hits the ball where it's pitched. Rockies set for 2. DJ shortens up a little bit at second. Troy a little bit deeper at shortstop. And strike 1 on Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt hit a 2-run home run in the 5th inning.
The thing about John, he's not afraid to challenge you with his fastball. In range 94 to 97 miles an hour. A lot of hitters are very aware of the 12-6 curveball that he has very good command of. So it's tough to sit on one of their 2.
A 1 on Goldschmidt. 1-1. Two and 1. Outfield very deep naturally for Goldschmidt.
Well, you don't want any doubles here. So you're going to try to get as deep as you possibly can. You cut down on some angles. Charlie's shading slightly into right center field. Not a whole lot that it would matter. DJ cheating a little bit towards the bag at second defensively.
2-1 on Goldschmidt. And it's 3-1 on the leading hitter in baseball.
Well, how did you lay off that? I mean, that is right in the bottom of the strike zone at 90 with a slider. Impeccable eye at home plate.
Peralta, conservative lead, 3-1, ball 4, and now you have 2 on and nobody out. And Yasmani Tomas coming up. Tomas tonight has 3 hits and 4 at bats. Double and a pair of singles. He's 10 for 20 against the Rockies this year. But the good news is if you can get a ground ball, Tomas is not exactly a flyer.
You can have a quick turn up the middle only because of Goldschmidt. He'll get on you in a hurry at second.
Ground ball through the left side. It's a base hit. Peralta around third gets a green light. He'll score. And it's now a 7-6 game. Nobody out.
Boy, that squibbler to start off the inning. Tomas with that base hit, 26 RBIs. It's so important to get the leadoff man. Just missed with a couple of sliders to Goldschmidt. That's where you got to have those punch outs. Cheated on the fastball early. Ambushed it between Tulo and Arenado. Barnes got there in a hurry to prevent Goldschmidt from any advancement, but they did send him. Good base coach Andy Green sent him to the house.
Jake Lamb, he doubled in a run in the 4th. He's 1 for 4.
Any history between the Lamb and Axford?
Single walk single. Lamb squared around. You have to honor the bunt now that there's nobody out. Put the potential go-ahead run at second. Tying run at third.
Started to get Goldschmidt to cheat a little bit. The spin around move, nobody there to throw it to. It puts it in the mind of Paul Goldschmidt, though. Arizona 4 for 10 tonight. The Rockies 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this game.
Two and 0.
Walt Weiss, all you could do in the ninth with a closer, you just got to sit and wear whatever happens. It's the toughest 3 outs in the game.
Two and 1.
Might have swung at ball 3. Most left-handed hitters, though, they like the low ball anyway, so that pitch was a couple inches below the strike zone. Chip Hale, Owens is on deck. Tried to maneuver his bullpen through this game. Walt has maneuvered his to get to the closer.
For 12 for 12 in safe situations. A squib hit, a walk, and a bouncer through the left side. And it's a 7-6 game. This ball is up the first base line, foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Punch out here would be huge.
You go to that go-to pitch as a left-handed hitter. Do you blow him up with the fastball in on his hands at 96? Lamb's a pretty good hitter with a pretty good eye. They're going to set up inside. Could be the slider. It's a breaking ball.
This is a looper to center. DJ is not going to be able to get there. Everybody will move up 90 feet. Now the bases are loaded. Still nobody out on a bloop single by Lamb. There hasn't been a ball hit hard in the inning.
2 squibs and a walk and a ground ball through the left side of the infield. Man, oh man. Unbelievable. DJ giving chase to this baseball. It's going to drop in between all 3 of them. Well, Axford has the ability to get 3 punch outs in a row, or at least 1 and a ground ball. Tamaki is in the on deck circle. He's 0 for 1. Owings had never faced him. Down 1, you got to be prepared for anything here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I'm bringing to alert here with Nolan a couple of steps behind the bag at third. And you do have speed at third.
Strike 1. Owings strikes out a fair amount. A little more than 1 out of every 4 at bats. Rockies halfway in the infield. They got to cut that run off at the plate. Strike 2.
That old rear back, 97 miles an hour with that fastball. Always tell by the demeanor of good closers, they don't ever let it get out of control mentally.
Well, that's where experience is so important. This guy's been in this situation so many times. 2 strikes on Owens.
Tried to elevate the fastball at 97, able to fight it off.
Spike a curveball.
Yeah, and you trust your catcher. The thing is, everything he throws is power. So if he spikes it, it's got to be behind the plate in the dirt, not on the plate or in front of the plate. Because if you do, it's going to spike all the way to the screen. That's the one thing you're trying to stay away from. You take hard slider off the plate and get him to chase. Nick's rotating to the outside corner. Yeah, there it was on the spike. Boy, what a block.
It's a great block.
That 82-mile-an-hour curveball off the plate. And it's almost in the left-handed batter's box. That's what makes it a little more difficult. And just a lot of luck involved to be able to even block that pitch.
One and 2 on Owings, bases loaded, nobody out. The Rockies clinging to a 7-6 lead. Goldschmidt, Tomas, and Lamb all on board. One, 2. Got it. One. Got him with a high fastball at 96.
That's only the 4th time in 23 games that Ackford's even been scored upon in this young season in 2015. After throwing the curveball in the dirt, he comes back with high cheese, not able to catch up to it, and the strikeout. Now everything kind of steps up pretty good here. You get a ball on the ground with Saltalamacchia, you got a really good chance to flip it. He's 0 for 1 in his career versus John Axford.
He's struck out 29 times in 73 at bats. Something else to keep in mind.
Trying to come inside. Is it going to be the fastball and try to blow it by? And they do. At 96 miles an hour.
Aaron Hill, a notorious Rockies killer, is on deck to pinch hit. Bases jammed, 1 out. 7-6 Colorado in the ninth.
Work that heater back on the hands again. Don't let him get extension. Didn't go for it that time. A little bit off of the plate to even the count at 1-1.
Tip, it's 1-2. I agree with you, George. I know you study hitters, and he's got a long swing. You come in on him, it's going to be tough for him at that velocity.
Right. I mean, it's just very difficult to catch up to that fastball. I mean, he tried and probably thought he was right on that. But stay on that inside part of the plate. Don't let him get an extension, and I don't think you slow it down to the bat speed. I think you try to explode it. You got to get another chance coming inside again.
This is fouled off, and he went right after him with the fastball again. This one at 97.
Ziegler's warming up in the Arizona bullpen if they happen to get a lead. Otherwise, Hudson will hit back out. Well, Hudson will be gone.
Goldschmidt, the tying run at third.
Not a bad choice if they go hard slider here under the bat. And they did, worked under it, and it was up in the zone.
Two and two. Stressful moments for a manager.
Yeah, for the guy on the hill, too.
2-2. Line drive foul.
Most closers have a whole different heartbeat than everybody else. They're able to keep it pretty calm.
And now it runs full on Saltalamacchia, and obviously there's no place to put it. Already 28 pitches in. 3-2. Ground ball foul.
Still amazing to me how 97 miles an hour gets on you so quick and that you can make contact. From a guy that's standing on the mound nearly 6'7" in a down plane. He strides, so when that release point hits, he's at about 54 feet. Troy Hawkins because of pitch count at 27. If he strikes him out, it's all yours. If you start to get beat up a little more, you might see LaTroy.
Another 3-2.
Man, what a battle.
And I don't think it's going to deviate, George. I think if you're Axford, his best pitch is his fastball. I don't think he.
Well, here's the thing about it.
Deviate from that.
If nobody's on base, your heart rate and your arm speed and the amp, being so excited about the situation, you don't over amp the breaking ball. But when you're in this situation, you don't want to hang it, so then you over amp it where you throw it in the dirt. It's ball 4. You need to stick to the fastball.
If it was going to show up, it would have been earlier in the count. Missed. Ball 4, and that forces in the tying run. Saltalamacchia wins that battle, and the Diamondbacks have tied up the Rockies at 7.
5th RBI now for Saltalamacchia. Conversation starts. I think you send out Steve Foster for just a second. Go out and visit with the closer. I mean, again, he's been perfect all year, 12 for 12. And in this inning, a couple of walks have showed up. One of them have scored now.
An infield hit, a seeing eye hit, and a bloop single.
You know, mentioned Hill has not faced Axford either because of this hard throwing right hand. Saltalamacchia, I mean, that was a great at bat. I have to tip my cap to him. That was 10 pitch at bat. A number of them fouled off, as much as I don't like to. That's just a great at bat. You can see it on the Ford strike zone of how many pitches, where they were, how many fouled off. Basically, the Diamondback bench is empty now. Castillo's the only one left, the backup catcher. A lot of managers don't like to leave themselves without that catcher.
I mentioned that Hill has notoriously hit well against the Rockies. There are the numbers: 346 in his career, 58 career games. He has a hit in 46 of them. Axford needs a ground ball badly here. And this is ball 1. 7-7 in the 9th. Go ahead run at 3rd and Tomas. This ball's hit well to center field. It's going to get the go-ahead run home. Blackman makes the catch. Tomas jogs home. Aaron Hill has given Arizona an 8-7 lead. 3 runs for the Diamondbacks here in the top of the 9th against John Axford. 1st and 3rd now with 2 outs.
18th RBI for Hill. He is now 4 for 15 with 3 RBIs, and Walt's not going to let his closer have any more pitches. 32 now. He's going to go to LaTroy Hawkins once the lead was lost. It's 8-7 now, and Axford will be replaced by LaTroy.
So John Axford walks off. Arizona up a run in the 9th. First blown save of the year for John. again, it was a bleeder up the third base line against the shift that got it going. David Peralta. There was a walk, then there was a seeing eye base hit, a bloop single, and give Saltalamacchia credit. He won that lengthy battle, and now LaTroy Hawkins will try to keep it a one-run game to give the Rockies a chance at the bottom of the ninth against Brad Ziegler.
14th game that he's appeared in, 12 innings thrown, 13 strikeouts. Pennington will hit against Hawkins here with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Pennington in his career against Hawkins is 1 for 4. A lot of scratches, not many left. Just Boone Logan, the only one left down in the bullpen now. They've got a few more down there.
Cliff Pennington, 1 of 2 since coming in the ball game.
A couple of nice defensive plays also.
Rockies will have the top of the order in the bottom of the ninth. This ball lifted to left field, and Brandon Barnes makes the catch, and the inning finally is over. But the Diamondbacks score 3 times, and they go from a 7-5 deficit to an 8-7 advantage. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Charlie Blackmon will lead it off. The Rockies will try to rally against Brad Ziegler. Against John Axford in that ninth inning. Good fortune for Arizona, and now the Rockies will try to turn the tables and get after Brad Ziegler, who is a tough customer. He's inherited that closer role once held by Addison Reed. Addison Reed was sent to AAA recently, and Ziegler, who has always been a setup guy with that interesting delivery from down under, has taken over in the closer's role. He's 10 of 12. He's closed 8 in a row. And leadoff hitters are just 5 for 31 against Brad Ziegler. Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Troy Tulowitzki here in the ninth.
Ziegler's number, 15 games at Coors Field. 2-0, 12 innings pitched, 13 hits. It's not overpowering. But what it is it's kind of an odd delivery, low sinker. Blackmon's 2 for 8 in his career against Ziegler.
And it's a rollover ground ball, 1 out.
That's what he gets, a lot of ground ball outs. And he's a strike thrower.
Rockies had a 2-0 lead in the first, added a run in the second on a home run by Nick Hundley. And then they fell behind 5-3 as Arizona got after David Hale. The Rockies would score 4 in the 5th. And this is bounced up the middle. Pennington throws out LeMahieu. Rockies down to their final out. It's Tulowitzki.
1-4-3 Tulo is against Ziegler in his career. Not a lot of history with all of this. Again, not a lot of strikeouts by Ziegler, just 15 and 30 innings. He's only given up 20 hits, though. The opposition just 192.
Tulowitzki. Rockies bullpen had done a really good job until the hiccup in the 9th. 2-0.
Boy, it's funny how closers, regardless of who you are, you come in and all of a sudden they Tulowitzki, superstar, left-handed ability to hit the ball out of the park, and Arenado. They go right at Charlie and DJ. They just don't have that same reputation as a Tulowitzki. Fall behind Tulo 2-1. Comes back 2-2. Tulo thought that ball was low. It was too. Bottom of the strike zone.
Two-two. And Brad Ziegler strikes out Tulowitzki to end it. And a very disappointing loss for the Rockies. They could not hold a 2-run 9th inning lead. Their 3-game winning streak is a thing of the past as they fall 8-7. The Diamondbacks with 3 in the top of the 9th. Daniel Hudson gets the victory. John Axford takes the loss. Brad Ziegler picks up his 11th save. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Well, Aaron Hill pinch hits, and he lifts the ball to deep center field, and that would allow the game-winning run, as it turned out, to score Yasmani Tomas easily. And that was the difference tonight. In the longest game of the year, 3 hours and 55 minutes, not including the 46-minute rain delay initially. So the Diamondbacks, with a rally in the 9th, defeat the Rockies 8-7 on a long Wednesday night. We go to our post-game show, brought to you by Toyota, and here's Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. It was a very long night. There was the rain delay, the longest game, as you mentioned, not the way the Rockies thought it would end.
Yeah, 7 runs should get you a win at home.
And it's too bad for John Axford. He's been so good all year up until today.
We'll talk about it on the Toyota postgame show next.